grew up in a family with 3 siblings that wasn't really religious. Growing up, I always wanted to be like my older brothers. However, this often led me to be disappointed and angry because I couldn't really keep up with them. I noticed that this was kind of a pattern of mine. I was never really enough for myself, and I always wanted to be like someone else, who I just thought was better than me. As I got older, my family would often give me a hard time and joke around with me, but I took everything they said to heart, which made it really hard to think highly of myself. I began to believe I was just someone to laugh at. This led me to kind of take things out on my little sister, and I often made her feel just as bad as I felt. At home, I just became really selfish and mean. It was the only way I thought I could make up for how worthless I felt. And then at school, I just struggled to make friends, which made me feel invisible. During middle school, this is just when I started to feel very anxious and sad and hopeless. I shut pretty much everyone out of my life because I thought no one would care or love me. And I put all my worth in things like soccer and my academics. Going into my freshman year of high school, I was just lost and ashamed of who I was. I thought I had no purpose and I had no hope that things would change. But in this darkness, I did find some light. I started going to Young Life because my brothers had found so much joy through it. It seemed to have changed my older brother, and I just wanted that for myself. At Young Life, I was met by leaders who wanted to get to know me and who made an effort to talk to me. I could no longer go unnoticed, and they made me feel loved in a way I'd never experienced before, and I didn't really understand why. The more I started going to Young Life and the more consistent I read the Bible, I started to understand that there was this man, Jesus, and a God who supposedly loves me unconditionally. I didn't really believe this at first, but I did start to feel seen again. It was at this point that I would say I was spiritually curious and that I believed in God, but I just didn't think it was for me. My sophomore year, I signed up to go to camp through Young Life, where I truly heard the gospel and was transformed by it. I realized that God did forgive me and wants a relationship with me. I heard Jesus died for me personally, and although that caused me to wrestle with some guilt and shame, I finally realized that I didn't need to be perfect to have a relationship with Jesus, but that he had already accomplished everything on the cross. I realized that his love was freely given and not earned. And when I realized that, I accepted him into my life. Jesus took all my anxiety and all my depression, and I was truly a new person, no longer defined by sin. And I was all in because he gave me that hope and that joy back. So as I know Jesus, everything in me has changed. I've been given a new confidence and wisdom, a new identity and a new purpose. My priorities have changed and relationships have come into my life. I continue to do a lot of the same things, but with a different mindset and motivation. My worth is no longer in how well I perform, but in how the Lord sees me. My junior and senior year, I just spent growing deeper in my relationship with God, and the Lord grew my heart for ministry. So when I decided to go to college, I knew it was for leading Young Life. Although this decision of where to go was hard, because when I prayed, I thought he was silent, and I didn't have this obvious voice telling me to go somewhere. But I ended up just trusting the Lord and that he will provide a way for me. And he has been so faithful. This first year of college started out really hard. I struggled to find community and see why God wanted me here. But through lots of prayer and patience and maybe a little bit of stubbornness, I stayed. And little by little, the Lord reminded me that he was not finished with me yet, that I wasn't alone, and that this is where I was meant to come. He showed me that my obedience and faith will produce fruit, and that he loved me, and that he will never walk away from me. He put people in my life to love me and guide me in every moment that I felt like giving up, and he showed me every time and answered every prayer. I know that Jesus is the only way to life, and he is worthy of our praise, so I trust that he will establish my steps and have confidence in the path I have chosen. I'm confident in who I am because I finally know whose I am. So today I wanted to get baptized, and I really liked this verse. It says, "But in your hearts set apart Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to anyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have, but do this with gentleness and respect." Jesus is the reason that I have hope, and he's been the most consistent thing in my life. And as I continuously to fall short, he continues to love me and to bless me. I know that his plan for my life is so much better than my own. He has everything that I could ever need or desire, and he will provide every single time. So that's why I want to get baptized today.